Is Metal Gear Solid actually a masterpiece, or is it just 4 hours of codec calls and backtracking? Today, we're stripping away the Kojima hype to see if the actual gameplay still holds up decades later. Welcome back, codec breakers, to episode 3 of the PSX Index. I'm Parasine, and if my voice sounds a little deeper, a little more gravelly, and I keep pausing dramatically mid-sentence, it's only because we've reached the game that demands it. For those joining us, the mission is simple: 1,278 games. This is the entire North American PS1 library, released between 1995 and 2004. I stream the raw gameplay over on my Twitch channel, sharing the genuine uncut experience for a first timer or a nostalgic veteran. Then I bring that experience here to YouTube, edited down into these video essays where we dive deep into the history, design and the lasting impact of these console defining classics. Hit that follow button. We've already traversed two completely opposing ends of the PS1 spectrum. Episode 1, the grim, stressful survivor horror of Parasite Eve 2 on nightmare mode, naturally, and Episode 2, the chaotic combo shredding energy of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Today, we stop shouting, we turn off the skater punk rock, and we learn how to whisper. We are moving from arcade thrills to cinematic tension, because today we are diving into a game that changed everything. The game many consider the best of its generation and perhaps the greatest game of all time, Metal Gear Solid. This isn't just another game on the list. For me and countless others in their 25 to 40 age bracket, Metal Gear Solid is a sacred text. I've played this game multiple times. I know every codec frequency, every guard pattern and every dramatic fourth wall breaking moment. Released in North America on October 21st, 1998, it wasn't just a jump to 3D, it was the arrival of the stealth action genre as a blockbuster force. This is the product of Hideo Kojima, a director obsessed with cinema, philosophy and anti-war messaging. The original Metal Gear on the MSX had to be a hardened game because of the hardware constraints of the time, meant the MSX couldn't handle more than just 1 or 2 bullets on the screen at once. Kojima turned a technical limitation into a revolutionary genre. It's the third game in Kojima's Metal Gear series after the MSX titles. It references the 3D Solid computer graphics. It's the name of our hero, Solid Snake. It's simple and it's peak Kojima. In 1998, games had cutscenes. Metal Gear Solid had movie chapters.
Goodbye. What am I fighting for? What are you fighting for?
If we make it through this, I'll tell you.
Kojima and his team were so intent on detail that during the development they used Lego pieces to block out the levels. The codec, a game changer. Rather than endless rendered cutscenes which were costly and time consuming, the codec allowed for a rapid fire, character driven exposition and tension delivered over a radio channel. It was instant, it was intimate and it was revolutionary. Of course, the codec also introduced us to the concept of the codec lock. You're running from a tank, you get to a door, and suddenly a character calls in the spend of the next 5 minutes discussing dread of being a clone. You couldn't hang up, you were simply forced to stand there, waiting for the philosophical debate to finish, while the world outside continued to be on fire. Tactical, yes. Efficient, absolutely not. Beyond the action, the game is a dramatic exploration of nuclear deterrence. It's a game that makes you think, a true benchmark for video game storytelling. Snake is deployed into Shadow Moses Island, a remote, fictional, nuclear disposal facility in Alaska, now seized by Foxhound. The underground dock, the starting area, is a perfect design. It's a series of corridors introducing core mechanics instantly. The top-down perspective forcing you to rely on the radar. The puzzles, your first lesson in noise and environment awareness. The crate, the ultimate hiding post. The true marvel of Solid Snake is that he's capable of surviving the most dangerous mission on Earth despite constantly having to answer the phone. He has more codec calls than a call centre employee, and every single one is a matter of life and death. If there's one thing MGS teaches you, it's that no matter how deep you are behind enemy lines, your boss will always find a way to reach you. Perhaps the most iconic area of the entire facility, the helipad. Spotlights, surveillance cameras, and the introduction of enemy footprints in the snow. A tiny detail that ramped up the tension instantly. You immediately have multiple approaches under the truck, through the vents, or the risky dash past the guards. The choice is yours, but the consequences are not.
So you're the one that the boss keeps talking about.
The early boss, the structure here is incredible. You're constantly given a new tool, then immediately challenged by a boss that forces you to master it. Revolver Ocelot is modelled after legendary spaghetti western actor Lee Van Cleef. He's a duel that tests your basic shooting and evasion. The tank, Raven. The first time the scale truly hits you, you're fighting an armoured vehicle using only grenades and your wits. It's a quite essential Kojima moment. The ninja, Grey Fox, the character who brings the most pathos and dramatic tension to the story. The unexpected ally, the classic line, a cornered fox is more dangerous than a jackal. The Psycho Mantis fight, this is the moment the game went from great to legendary for me. It's pure theatrical, brilliant absurdity. He reads your memory card, so you like to play Castlevania? Mantis will know about your 100% save file like Pepsi Man. The solution? The famous moment where you have to literally switch controller ports to defeat him. This is a fourth wall not just being broken, but being punched through with a glove fist. The controller port swap is still considered the greatest trick in video game history, and honestly, the fact that a psychic ninja forced millions of players to crawl under their £90 CRT TVs just to beat him is probably the most impressive display of psychological warfare the series has ever achieved.
Snake, I want you and Meryl to work together.
Can I trust her?
More than you can trust me. Get in contact with her.
The codec frequency for Meryl is printed on the back of the physical game case. It was a genius move. It forced players to interact with the game as a physical object, something that is now completely lost in the age of digital downloads. Shadow Moses, the unseen villain. The true success of the setting is that Shadow Moses feels like a character itself. It's small, you can run around the entire facility in just under 20 minutes, but the sheer density of detail is what makes it feel huge. The developer used the environments to ramp up the tension. The footprints in the snow didn't just look cool, they were a mechanic showing guards exactly where you had been. The steam and the fog in the cooling areas didn't just provide atmosphere, they gave you cover that wasn't there before. The environment reacts to you. The change in temperature in the tank hangar forces the guards to shiver or sneeze, momentarily distracting them. It's this commitment to using the environmental realism to enhance stealth that elevates the entire experience far beyond a simple map layout. It forces you to respect the physics of the world and to use every inch of the facility as a technical advantage. The sniper wolf duel, this is where the emotional core of the game takes over. The long trek to find the sniper rifle, the grueling distance of the fight, the feeling of being completely exposed. Sniper Wolf's taunt about a love letter as a bullet is a shout out to a famous line from a David Lynch film, Blue Velvet. Kojima's cinematic influences are everywhere. The torture sequence. After being captured, you are subjected to a famously intense torture sequence under the command of Revolver Ocelot. This isn't a cutscene, it's a button mashing trial of endurance. It's a key part of the experience. You are being tortured, and the result affects your endings. The player's effort has narrative consequences. The torture sequence wasn't just a test of Snake's will, it was a brutal test of our controller's longevity and our thumb joints. If you didn't have a sore, blistered thumb after trying to save Meryl, you didn't play the game right. We suffered along with Snake, and in the end, we needed just as much medical attention as he did. The cell escape, how did you escape? The classic method, the ketchup, faking your own death and terrifying the guard. The other method, waiting for the unexpected rescue from the cyborg ninja. The moment solidifies MGS as a true game of choices and layered design, and the ultimate camouflage, the cardboard box. It's the ultimate symbol of the series. On the surface, it's a brilliant sight gag. Why does a heavily trained soldier hide under a box? Because he's hilarious, but functionality, it's one of the most effective and elegant stealth mechanics ever designed. In MGS, the box serves three purposes: shelter, fast travel, and distraction. A guard sees a box, assumes it's standard base storage, and moves on. If you wait in the right spot, the guard will even transport the box to a different area for you, creating a brilliant, lazy form of fast travel. Snake's partner in crime, the future tech guru Hal Emmerich Otacon, gets his name from the computer in 2001: A Space Odyssey. Snake's real name is David, and the other main character, subtle brilliant homage, initial design trivia, Otacon was initially going to be designed as a fat guy who seemed to always be eating chocolate bars. Thankfully, they decided to go with the anime-loving nervous genius we got. The lower levels, the blast furnace, the underground maintenance tunnels, the level design evolves from open sneaking to intense close quarters puzzle solving and boss fighting. The facility feels less like a military base and more like a tomb. Then there's the Battle of Rex, the final threat, the giant nuclear equipped tank. The twist: the final battle is not just about Rex, it's about the protagonist versus the clone versus the brother, Snake versus Liquid. The strategy: the three-stage fight, disabling the radar, destroying the cockpit, and the ultimate fistfight on top of the ruined mech. The game has two endings, determined by your success in the torture sequence. Meryl's ending is the more classic, romantic, bittersweet ending. Snake finds a reason to keep fighting. And Otacon's ending, the more cynical, technological, and perhaps deeper ending. Snake and Otacon drive off into the snow, bonded by loss and shared knowledge. The verdict: the fact that the game uses a player's simple button mashing effort to determine who lives and dies in the game's ultimate statement on the player agency and consequence. Metal Gear Solid is not just one of the best games on the PS1, it is a fundamental work of interactive fiction. The Shadow Moses facility is an unforgettable character in itself, small in size but huge in scope and detailed atmosphere. The way the game balances 10 minutes of pure, heart-in-your-throat stealth with a 5-minute, voice-acted codec philosophical debate is masterful. It treats its story and themes with the seriousness of a Hollywood blockbuster, but with a weirdness and depth only Kojima can deliver. Finally, we must talk about the sound design. It's as crucial as the visuals. When you're sneaking, the music is low. Ambient pulse, it disappears, but when that alert phase hits, the music drops in with that iconic, urgent electronic fanfare. It's a sonic jump scare and instantly resets your heart rate and lets you know the clock is ticking. This dramatic contrast from silence and creeping dread to an explosive, urgent bass line is a masterclass in using audio to control the player's emotional state. It's what makes MGS so effective. The controls are famously clunky. You can't move and shoot, the inventory system is fiddly, the top-down camera requires you constant map checks, but those aren't flaws, they are design decisions. They intentionally make Snake feel vulnerable and human. The clunky controls force you to slow down and embrace the stealth, a masterpiece of its era. A game that made us realise video games could be more than just high scores and platforming. They could be deep, cinematic and profoundly moving. It is essential PSX index viewing. We've escaped Shadow Moses, we've conquered the clones, we've learned that a box is the ultimate camouflage. That finishes episode 3. We have now covered survival horror, arcade sport and tactical espionage. Now the index is a mission of variety. For episode 4, we need to draw in more viewers, more followers on Twitch and more eyes on YouTube thumbnails. We need something visually explosive, instantly recognisable and perhaps a little short and sweet for a high energy stream. I'm choosing a game that is pure 32-bit graphical mayhem, high stakes competition, and one that absolutely defined the PS1's early image. Get ready for the high octane demolition derby, the chaotic soundtrack, and the explosive thumbnails. Next time on the PSX Index, we jump into the arena with Twisted Metal 2. 1,275 games still to go. The journey is long. Follow the raw footage on Twitch and subscribe here for the video essays. I'll see you on the next one. This has been Parasine and this is the PSX Index.